This is Dr. Robert Bates at the Concussion Center of Fitchburg. Today we're going to discuss dysautonomia. Since it has become a big topic in the literature over the last couple of years, and more people are having chronic symptoms or post-concussive symptoms or post-concussion syndrome because of dysautonomia. So to understand dysautonomia, we have to understand the autonomic nervous system, since dysautonomia simply means a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system is made up of three parts. It is made up of a sympathetic portion, it is made up of a parasympathetic portion, and some people call these opposite, even though they are not. They do have a lot of features that make them seem contrary to each other. For instance, in the eyes, the sympathetic system dilates the pupil and the parasympathetic constricts the pupil. The sympathetic system and the parasympathetic have different types of neurotransmitters in some locations, and they do perform a variation of things. The sympathetic system constricts vessels. It's kind of called the fight or flight reaction, gets you ready to use more physical activity. The parasympathetic innervates more organ systems, and it is a more calming system that comes into play when you're less active for healing and enzyme production and so forth. But people forget about the third part of the the autonomic nervous system, which is the enteric system. It is the largest of the three making up the autonomic nervous system. And it innervates all of the different areas that create hormones and enzymes so that we can digest and we can have normal function of many different controlling things in the body. So it's very, very important. Going on, what we see is the sympathetic, parasympathetic, and enteric systems run through various nerves to get out to the periphery. The sympathetic system runs through the 12 sympathetic nerves that come out of the thoracic levels, form a chain ganglia, and then supply through other nerves all the blood vessels in the body pretty much, as well as go back up with other nerves and blood vessels into the head to control supply of blood in the head itself. The parasympathetic system comes out of 4 cranial nerves and goes through the body that way, as well as 3 of the sacral nerves carry parasympathetic fiber. The enteric system, again, is the largest system and goes all over the place as well. So let us remember that this has to begin in the brain, and there are many brain structures that are innervated by other structures that actually send output fiber to make up this autonomic nervous system. Essentially, the main parts of the brain that contribute to this system are parts of the cerebral cortex, the amygdala, the stria terminalis, the hypothalamus, brainstem structures including the periaqueductual gray, the parabrachial pons, the nucleus of the tractus solitarius, and the intermediate reticular zone of medulla. And of course, like I stated before, there are many structures that innervate these areas before they actually become part of the actual autonomic nervous system. The following is a diagram showing the sympathetic innervation from the 12 levels of the thoracic spine. You can see the 12 levels come out and form a sympathetic chain ganglia, which then goes into various nerves and goes to all parts of blood vessels throughout the body. The following chart is a parasympathetic innervation from the 4 cranial nerves and the 3 sacral levels, and you can see a different length of pathways with different nerves to all of the organ structures in the body. Hopefully you can appreciate the vast expansiveness of the nervous system making up the dysautonomia symptoms, creating an abnormality in some level either peripherally or with concussion or damage in the head of many of the pathways and structures and nuclei that end up making up and influencing the autonomic nervous system through either the sympathetic, parasympathetic, or enteric systems. This was only a very brief description, but hopefully you will understand enough to realize how important it is. If you would like to read more, there's plenty of literature to look further into various types and problems with the autonomic nervous system and seeing dysautonomia and post-concussion syndrome. You can go to my website, Concussion Center of Fitchburg, or you can call me and we can discuss your problems to see if I can be of some help to you. Otherwise, have a great day. Stay healthy.